Okay, now we got everything going. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Five A. Probably going to start off with a bunch of terminology on statistics. That should be statistics. Because you always do statistics for probability, even though it's called probability and statistics. Let me turn this down a little bit. There we go. Probably going to start off with a little bit of what is statistics. Yep. And that is very important. There's important in two directions. For those of you that don't have a book, there it is. Can you turn off that front? Can you turn off that front light for me so that way people can see the screen a little bit better? All right. Copy down the definition for the word statistic. If you don't have a book, then you look up here and you put page 287, green box. Statistics has two different meanings. Statistics with a lowercase s means basically the parameters of a sample. Okay? Statistics with an uppercase s means the accumulation, the interpretation, calculating and interpretation of data. Now you can say that however you want to. But most of the time when you see a lowercase s statistics, that means that you're dealing with the parameter of a sample. And we'll get to that in just a few minutes. Uppercase is, okay, there it is. The second one should be a lowercase s. Some books do it, some books don't. But if you're ever in a presentation and you are looking at a presentation, PowerPoint presentation, and the S is lowercase, then you know that's pertaining to the sample. Okay. We're going to go through and we'll talk about stuff. And here we go. Population and parameter, sample and statistic. What is a population? No coughing in class. Population is all Tri-County Tech students. A sample would be Anderson campus Tri-County Tech students. Or Anderson campus students be the population. My Math 103 would be the sample. Okay? Why do we have a sample and a population? Well, the population we don't have. The population is what we are forced with. In other words, can you manipulate the population of the United States? No. All right? It's there whether we like it or not. So you can't control the population because one is too big and two, you don't have any control over it. The sample is usually something that you have control over, like my class or like Tri-County Tech students. There is a control factor there that is not over the population, and therefore it's a sample. Now, with statistics and probability together, when they're mashed together, the goal is to make a predictor of the population from the sample. That's the goal. You know, in algebra, your goal is to get the variable by itself. Well, your goal in probability and statistics is to predict with the sample what goes on in the population. Why? Why do you want to use the sample instead of the population? The two most important things to all of us. What are the two most important things to all of us? That's not rhetorical. I'm asking you all. That means y'all need to speak. That means y'all need to answer the question. Y'all suck. What is the most important thing to all of us? Two things.
Life.
Oh, be quiet. You've been watching too much Beautiful Mind, or not Beautiful Mind, Good Will Hunting. Life is...
I'll take life over anything else.
Okay, while you're alive, what is the two most important things to you? What? Time and money. Two most important things to all of us. Yes, food and water is important, but you can go out and pick some berries off the side of the road, okay? It's not like you're going to starve to death, okay? As I tell my 10-year-old, Daddy, I'm starving. Shut up. Don't ever use that word in my house because you're not starving. Oh, drives me bananas. I have to slap him around, hit him with the stick a couple of times. I don't have him this week, so I can talk bad about him. Anyway, shut up, you. The reason we use a sample versus the population is to save time and money. You work for Michelin, you're a department head for Michelin, you want to find out how many tires Michelin screws up, the Sandy Springs plant screws up, versus the Anderson plant. I'm sorry, Star plant. It's an Anderson business. We wanted to talk about that. They moved the line so that Star could get the money, the tax money from Michelin. That's why they say it's a Star plant. But it's not Star, it's in Anderson. But anyway, I'll never forget that. That was a big thing in Anderson when they did that. Anyway, so I don't want to sit there and count every single tire that goes through both plants. And I sure as heck don't want to count every single tire that they mess up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sample. I'm going to take a sample from the Anderson plant. I'm going to take a sample from the Sandy Springs plant. So the sample will tell me what to expect from the whole plant, because I don't want to spend the time or the money. Now remember, all of you are heading toward a career. I don't care what career you're going into, statistics and probability is going to be there some way, somehow, some form. Most of the time, statistics. You can be working on the 5th floor of the hospital, and there'll be a report at the end of the year or semi-annually, and you have your yearly meeting or whatever. There's going to be some statistics in there somewhere, somehow. Okay? There's very few professions that you're not going to see some form of statistics or probability in. Okay? Now, what are these two guys? The population has variables in it. Okay? Variables meaning X, Y, Z, variables, letters. But we don't use letters with a population. We use parameters. Okay? That's what they're called, parameters. So if you have letters and or a formula with letters in it, they're not letters, they're parameters. They're not variables, they're parameters. Okay? How do you know the difference between them and the population is written with Greek symbols? Write that down. The population parameters are usually written with Greek symbols. So if you see something that looks funny, it's dealing with the population. Well, what about what's the formulas written in the statistics? Well, the sample. That would be the statistics, not the variables. The statistics with the little s. Okay, that will be in our regular letters. So you need to write that down. Now, why is this important? Well, let's say that you're in a meeting and you work at blah, 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 blah. Does anybody work somewhere besides, part-time job? Where you? You're right in my right side. You two are right in my right side. Where at? Oh, up there on the MMed campus, or whatever it's called. All right. Let's say you're in a meeting there, and your supervisor is giving a presentation and they say mu is 26 age. And then you say, and then your supervisor says, and our X bar is 28. And that's not matching up. And then you say, well, maybe we need to take more data because of the population. The reason you know the population is the mu represents the population average age, where X bar equals the sample. And you know that, so you don't sound ignorant, and ask your boss, what does that mean? And then they know you're ignorant. Now your pay decreases and you eventually quit and live in the ditch. Okay? All because you didn't learn these definitions. All right? Remember, some things in some of these courses are not, no, you're not going to need it, but they're nice to know. You know, my grandfather, I don't know where he got this saying, but he always said, if you don't open your mouth, you won't show how ignorant you are. And sometimes that's very true, because sometimes if you just, that's why we have 2 ears and 1 what? Mouth. You listen, sometimes you pick up things, and I know that's a family thing, and that has nothing to do with this. But what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you read things and you need to write them down so you don't sound ignorant later on in life. And this is one of those things. If you see a parameter, you know it has to do with the what? Population. If you see a statistic, lowercase s, you know it has to do with the sample. So if somebody's giving a presentation and they got a bunch of Greek letters up there and they're talking about statistics, then you know it's the population. If they got a bunch of regular letters up there, they're talking about the sample. And you'll catch on to that when you start seeing some of the formulas we use, okay? And that's that. That is a test question right there. Okay? That's more of a test question than the first one. So the statistic and with the different, well, they're both good test questions, but I like this one better. Next one. Next page. Oh, and if I don't cover it, you need to read over it and make some notes, but chances are I'm not going to put it on test if I don't cover it, if I don't talk about it. I wish they would default the right there at 97%. That way you could see where you're at instead of having to do it manually. I'm just bitching, I'm sorry. All right, representative sample. Okay, what is this? A simple random sample. Well, no, don't call it a simple random sample. Call it a random sample. Don't look at that. Just ignore this and let's start off with random sample. Let's say that I want to give away 20 bucks. I'm going to put a $20 bill up here and I want to give it away. And I got a fishbowl up here, and I give each one of you a Post-it note, a yellow Post-it note. No, I don't like the sticky stuff on the back of a Post-it note. So let's say I give you a piece of paper that's yellow. It's not a Post-it note, but it don't have sticky stuff on the back. Okay? Because when you fold it, it sticks together. Just don't like that. All right. So I give you each a piece of paper. It's the same size and the same color. And I tell you to write your name on that piece of paper and fold it in half. And then I tell you to put it in the fishbowl, and then I shake up the fishbowl and I put my hand in there and move all of them around. And then I have somebody come up, look away, and put their hand in the jar and pull out a name. Why is I saw that? That was a yawn. Yawn. 2 more times, you're out. Throw you out. Why is that a random sample? Okay, yes, that's true. There's no bias there, but that's not. You suck. You're a failure. All right, you're wrong. Huh? How you know that? Not me picking notes. That's it. Everybody has the same chance. The thing there, and that's what you were saying when looking away, If you look, you might see somebody's name. All right? Everybody has the same chance. Now, what if Miss Brissy folded hers in quarters? Could that affect the outcome? Yes. The person grabbing might feel that one with corners and might be inclined to pull it or not pull it, depending on how it's folded. See what I'm saying? What if the person looked? Yeah, that messes up everything too, because you only folded it in half. It could open up when you shake it up. It could open up one of them, and they could see, and that might influence. There's so many things that you can learn with this one definition. Not up there, but random sample. It brings up the word what? Starts with a B. Bias. What does bias mean? Favor. Favoring or unfavoring. It could be easy. Okay? If I look, I turn around just a second and I see two names in that post-it note, that fishbowl. Am I contaminated? Yes. I'm contaminated. I should sit down and say, I've seen a name, somebody should pick. Somebody else should pick. You've got to be careful. In probability and statistics, this is the demon, okay? Bias is the demon. Write that down. I mean, it's not going to be on test. But bias is the demon. Now, bias can come in several ways. Bias can come in interpretation of data. Bias can come in the way that you obtain data. Let me give you an example. Let's say that Mr. Smith is the President of the United States, and I can't stand Mr. Smith. But I'm going to take a poll, and I'm going to find out how many people are going to vote Democrat or Republican based on Mr. Smith. So I ask the question, Mr. Smith is a terrible president. Will you be voting for Democrat or Republican in the next election? Is that a good question? No. Why? It's biased. Now, will you be voting Democrat or that's a good question. All right? And it's very, you have to be, I guess the word that supersedes bias is demon is you have to be 100% neutral. You have to be neutral. Whether you're obtaining the data, whether you're writing the questions, whether you're handing out the survey. Let's say that Miss Keller, not Keller. I'm sorry, say it one more time. Kapler. I was going to say Keller. Kapler. Let's say Miss Kapler hands out surveys. That's her only job. She's got a group. These three people in a group. And Xavier, he is writing the questions. And Miss Kapler is handing out the questions. And Miss Slack, she don't care. No, I'm just kidding. Miss Slack interprets the data, calculates and interprets the data. All right. And Mr. Xavier, he wrote good questions. They're all biased, they're non-biased. They're all down the middle. And then she goes out and she only gives this, let's say the survey is being in the Marlboro Club on campus, okay? Smoking on campus, okay? And let's say that you wrote 10 questions on the feelings of the people on campus about smoking on campus. And Ms. Kapler goes out and hands it to all the people that don't smoke. And then 5 of the people from the smoking area comes up, I will take one of those. She said, no, they're not for you. Is that right? No, it's not. It's bias. And then she gives the stuff to Miss Slack. And Miss Slack goes, here's one. How did this one go in here? This one is smoking. Oh, that one. So she throws it in the trash can. That's bias. But then she does the material. And let's say that all the people that Miss Kapler decided to pick to do the, let's say that they were about half and half. That it's okay to smoke on campus as long as you don't smoke up. Have you ever noticed how one cigarette can stink up the whole parking lot? It's amazing. I have sat in a parking lot, you know, on the phone or whatever, with the window down, and, you know, pull over to the gas station or wherever, at QT, and one person lights a cigarette, and it like fumigates the whole daggone. The one person buys a donut, you don't even smell it. You ever wonder about stuff like that? But anyway, she does. She comes up, Miss Kapler and Xavier, and says, "Well, we got 51 to 50." I don't think that's good. That's what Miss Slack says. So we're gonna change a few of the questions. So she just decides to change it. Does this happen in the real world? Can anybody give me any kind of example of being biased in the real world? Political. In the media. It's number one. Number one. In the last, and I can say this honestly, in the last 20 years, I'd say maybe 30, because I remember when I was growing up, you only got government TV. You only got 3 channels. And if you turn the antenna the right way, you might get channel 29 and channel 40. All right? Which was good channels because they didn't have news on them all the time. All right? So anyway, my father was very political, and he loved to watch the news when he got home. So we had to watch the news. Some of y'all might remember David Brinkley and John Chancellor. I don't know if y'all remember those, but that was NBC News. They reported the news, and then they went on. Oh my gosh, have y'all watched the news lately? Don't. I'm not talking about local news. To me, local news is a joke. But have you ever watched the national news? There is like 5 or 6 people on there instead of one person. And they're all giving their opinions. And I'm sorry, that's not what the news is for. The news is to report what's going on. And I'm both sides. I don't like both sides. That's why I stay on Facebook a good bit. I just watch for people saying, you know, Anderson County's on fire or Houston is flooding. That's what I get my news from Facebook. I know that's awful, but I trust it because I see 3, 4, and Snopes has done turned biased, so you can't believe Snopes anymore. So I don't know who to believe. I guess I just ask somebody. I don't know, but it's getting that bad. Some of y'all, have you ever seen bias other than the news? Have you ever seen bias in anything else? What? Yep. Yeah. In fact, you see that also in careers. You see that after you graduate. It's called the clique. Here we have a clique. At Tri-County, we have a clique. And if you're in that clique, you get in the newspaper, in the Tri-County Tech little newspaper we have, and you get to speak at this, and you get to speak at that. And if you're a black sheep, you don't get any of that. So how do I know? Well, I've been on both sides. I've been in the clique, and then I didn't like the clique. I turned black sheep. I was black sheep before I was in the clique. But anyway, phone story. Anyway, you have that bias in real life. Where else? Oh my. That's not good. Yes, ma'am. Quick. I'm in class. I know. Have they said anything about canceling anything? Okay. Okay, well, be careful. Bye-bye. Love you, said bye-bye. That was my daughter from College of Charleston. You know why I answered it. There's a tropical storm coming down our coast, and they don't know. They think it's going to just bounce and go up the coast. So I think we're all right. But the reason I called, making sure they didn't cancel classes and she's coming home or anything. I didn't know. But anyway, College of Charleston ain't done anything yet. So if you got to know anybody that goes down there, ain't done anything. She was just moving her car and letting me know that they may tell everybody to go out, but they don't think they are. So what were we getting at? What else? Media, work. What else? Well, media and politics. What else? Anything else? I can't think of anything else. Family. Yep, you have that. I don't think you have it as when you're young. I think it develops, just like everything else negative develops. You think about it, when you're below 10 years old, there's nothing bad. You're not racist, you're not biased, you're not prejudiced, you're not anything. Why? What happens? You just take a shot one day and it just happens? No, you learn it. And you know, I'm 50 years old. There's a lot of things you can learn, and bias is one of them. It's bias, racist, judgmental. It's real bad. So, just giving you, and I can't express enough, and I'm spending a lot of time on this, but it's the heart of probability and statistics. If you're not neutral, you just need to tell your group, or you need to tell who you work for, that you need to do something else, because you can't be neutral on this. Honestly, because it's gonna, what is it called? What is it called when something gets to infect? Because your bias is gonna infect the research. Okay? So remember that. Now, the only difference between a random sample and a simple random sample, here's the difference. Instead of putting each name, I'm going to put these three names. We're going to call this group A. Group B is right here, and group C is right here. And I take 3 pieces of paper. I saw that. I tried to sneak that one in. And I'm going to put on one piece of paper group A, and one group B, and one piece of paper group C, and put those 3 pieces of paper in the bowl. That's the difference between a random sample and a simple random sample. Capiche? What do I test you on? I'll test you on random sample. Okay, so that's all you need to worry about. I want you to go ahead and write down these 5: random sample, simple random sample, systematic sample, because I think it's important for you to know that, because some of you may go to Math Science 301 one day and flip. The Math Science 301 is their first statistics class, kind of like our 120, except it's a little bit on the junior side, so it's a little bit more advanced as far as statistics.
What did you say about the first one? I believe it's not as random sample.
Random sample is individuals. Simple random sample is the groups. Systematic random sample is I'm going to pick every third person in here and I'm going to put their name in the hat. Every third person. So 1, 2, 3. There's 9 people in here if you already know that. A pattern. Every third person, every 7th person, every 5th person on the page, every last person on each telephone book page. That's the computer goes through and picks every 10th person in the county. That's a systematic random sample. Systematic means pattern. Convenience. Put a star beside convenience. Convenience is the least accurate because it's the easiest. I always use this as an example. Let's say I work at a radio station and I'm the DJ. Okay? I'm the guy on the radio that plays the music. And this station that I work at is hard rock. Okay? Specializing in 80s music because that's the only music that is worth it. Okay? No comments? It is. It is about the best music. Since the 60s, the 80s, it's about the best music. The 90s really sucked. I'm sorry, it did. I was part of the 90s. I graduated in 85. 90s really sucked. I think it went downhill from there. But the 80s was great. I don't care what genre of music, it was great. But anyway, I'm hard rock. So in Southern Fried Rock, from Leonard Skinner and 38 Special all the way up to Marilyn Manson, okay, which is fairly decent. All that genre right in there. And I decide I want to figure out how my station is doing, so I'm going to send out a survey. No, I ain't going to send it out. That costs too much money. So I'm going to call it out. I'm going to get people to call in. And I'm going to find out if I need to change my music program. So I'm going to call out. I'm going to say, okay, I need to take a survey. I need people to call in from now until next Monday. And I'm going to keep it here on the tab. I need to find out what kind of music you like. Is that a convenient sample? Yes. Why is it inaccurate? Okay, and what are they listening to? What I play? Okay, is my station going to change to classical for some reason? No. It's going to stay hard rock because the people that are listening that know about the survey are going to call in and they're listening to my station because I'm playing hard rock. So the convenient sample is really not accurate. Stratified sampling. It's kind of like taking a survey to a voting precinct. Why? I saw that one. Because they're there, you got them hemmed up, and all you got to do is stand outside the door. You don't have to do much work because they're already what? They're already grouped together. The key word there is group. If I test you on any of those, it'll be random sampling. There's graphical representations of random sample. I mean, the different types of sampling. Here's a woman just hollering out, "Hey, do you support the death penalty?" Well, that's kind of outlandish. I don't think you'd stand outside, but you could argue that this is an argument. I'm not saying it's true, okay? But see, he's got a dog, and he's walking his dog. He's got his dog on a leash. So would you say that he's a responsible pet owner? Would you say that he loves his pet? Okay, he's walking, he loves his pet, he's walking his pet. She hollers out to him, "Hey, do you support the death penalty?" Somebody tell me what they predict this guy will say. You say yes? I say no. Huh? Do you support the death penalty? I predict this guy will say no. I do not support the death penalty. Why? He's very lovable. He's very compassionate. He's got one. He cares about himself. He cares about living. He's got his jogging shorts on. He's got he's walking his dog. His dog doesn't look like he's fallen down dead. He's healthy. He's walking him. See how you can read into things? All right. It's a convenient sample. I do this all the time. Okay. I do this in commercials. Okay, people are like, what? If you will look, the commercials that you watch on certain programs are targeted to a certain group. If you watch the news, guess what they're targeted to? You invest your money. How do you invest your money? I've fallen and I can't get up. That commercial should have been banned. We were making fun of that commercial in the 80s, okay? And they still play it. I think they play it just to get people to laugh at it. You don't see a commercial on a Mustang. You see a commercial on Jaguar during the news. Why is that? Why do you get investments, I've fallen and I can't get up, and Jaguar and sandals down there at the beach where don't cost much money. Nah. Older people with money. Why? Why would they play that during the news? There you go. I read into this stuff a lot. When I'm just like this, I used to drive my sister crazy because I would go, you know why they put in this program here after this program, or why they put in this program that everybody watches, why they're sandwiching it, or this program right here that nobody likes or nobody watches or it's new. Why are they putting it between this one and this one when this one usually is here? Why they're sandwiching it between two good programs? Because they're wanting people to watch it. Okay, manipulation. Now that's something I do all the time. I read into things. I've been called gifted at discernment. Does that make sense? Anyway, you can read into a lot of things.
So is that the new something about manipulation?
No, it's just if I was to do you support the death penalty? I would write a series of questions and I would send it to all different ages, and I would send it to all different types of people, all different genders, all different races. I would send it, of course I would send it to whoever lives in the state, because chances are the death penalty is under what? The state. All right. So I wouldn't send it to somebody in Florida if I was doing it in South Carolina. All right. The whole point is you wouldn't just yell it out, because most people that are walking, think about it. What are most people walking? They're either going to work or they're walking for their what? Which falls for the health, which falls back into loving life, loving health, loving da-da-da. So you're not manipulating, but you're going to get a biased result, because most of you people that are walking are going, I'm not going to say they're going to say no, but it would lean that way. Now see, that's the other argument. Remember that girl that got beat up or killed, jogging a while back? Yeah, you could go that argument. And you could say that all these women, that man right there, are going to be a hater. Kill them, prime. You could take both. That's why a convenient sample is not the best. You need to get a blanket. Blanket is the best word to offset convenience. Blanket. Okay? That means get every kind of gender. I'm sorry, there's only two genders. I don't care what anybody says. If you're offended, I'm sorry. When you're born, you're one of two genders. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay? All races, every single race you can get. The better, the more, the better. And of course, quantity. Would you want 5 or 10 people to survey, or would you want 500 or 600? 500 or 600. You want 5,000 or 6,000 if you're talking about a whole state. Okay? Systematic random sampling is probably your second best besides random sampling. This one is even, some people argue that this one's even more random than the random sample, because you don't know who you're going to get. Okay, those are all test questions, but chances are you're going to get, I say this would be a question: systematic and random. Ooh, boy, he does good. I love watching the History Channel. You ever seen the history? I love Egypt. History of Egypt. I love it. I can't watch enough shows on the history of Egypt. My dad, what do you call it? Fire stick, or whatever you've had on your TV. I got Egypt covered. All right. I love watching the Egyptians, because what do we think of Egyptians? We think of these beautiful people with Cleopatra with eye makeup, and Yul Brynner, the king, or and Moses. They didn't look like that, because they found these mummies and they recreated. They take a picture of their skull and they recreate them, like this guy. Have you ever seen any of those Egyptians? because it's pure blood. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And yeah, they kept them paying. That's why they've been in makeup. Some of them were just didn't look right. Hot Chip Soup, not Hot Chip Soup. Ognotten. Ognotten had a face of a man, but the physique of a woman. He was a man, but he was woman too. Well, nowadays it's not natural. I mean, that was natural. Okay, he was born that way. He was odd looking. But anyway, y'all see his face. And Tutankhamun, ooh, he was messed up too. He looked like that guy from Creep Show with the skullet. That guy that used to come up, and he was ugly too. They wasn't too pretty. I'd like for them to do Cleopatra. All right, because she was supposed to be like the jewel of the Nile. There we go. You will be tested on that. Bias, page 292, bias. Okay, you will be tested on this. Make sure you write it down. An experiment versus observation. The best example I can give you, y'all ever seen videos on YouTube of sleep apnea? That's an observation. Or have you seen these paranormal movies? I watch paranormal movies all the time. When I run out of horror movies, the hauntings and the possessions, I watch the paranormal movies. The paranormal movies scare you, and they even do anything. I mean, some of them are scary. Why?
It's just like random stuff, movies like, oh, pop across the room. It's like, okay, I'd rather something jump out.
It's manipulation. It's manipulation of music,
yeah,
and what you watch. It's
just a play on my mind.
But anyway, that's my three favorite movies: Possessions, Hauntings, and I like the paranormal. But have you seen these movies they put out now that show these people investigating these paranormal, and they actually catch stuff on video? I think that's interesting. Yeah, catch stuff on video. They go in there with this little meter that's supposed to go up and down the frequencies. Yeah. They're picking up dadgum Bobby over here with an intercom and somebody over here with a CB radio. I'm here, in two different, one's a woman and one's a man. I'm here. And they say, observational. I use the sleep apnea. That's what I use. Watching sleep apnea person. They wake up, they sit up, they talk, and they back down. They're sleepwalking or whatever. And then there is a experiment. The experiment would be giving that person a hallucinogenic before they put them to bed. Something to make them dream crazy stuff. That would be an experiment. Why? Because you have infected it. Remember infection, okay? You have done something to that observation, and now it's not just watching, it's watching due to what you've done to it. What is a rat in a maze? Observation or experiment? Have you affected it? It's observation. Well, when does it become experiment? When you put cheese in there, then it becomes an experiment. Simple. That is a test question. I don't do the treatment group and control group, but you can write it down. Treatment group is somebody you give the cheese to, or you give the pill to that's going to make them hallucinate. That's the treatment group. The control group, nothing. You don't give them anything. But since we're talking about giving people pills, why don't we talk about the placebo effect? Somebody tell me, without looking at the definition, what is a placebo? And they believe they have the same suit. It's a sugar pill. Huh? Any good examples? Did you talk about any good examples? The Andy Griffith Show.
Oh, she did talk about that.
Yes, the Andy Griffith Show. Emma Brands is like one of the first season. And I tell you it's first season because it was with Eleanor Donahue as the pharmacist, and she only lasted seven episodes because I think Andy perved on her a little bit. I think she got uncomfortable. She said she got uncomfortable working with him. I don't know if he perved on her or they had some kind of relationship that went crazy or something. But anyway, she was supposed to be the girlfriend for the whole show. And she didn't feel comfortable working with Andy. So something happened there, okay? We're not going to talk about it. And they brought in that old Ellen, what's her name? Ugh. I didn't like that one. But anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, Emma Brands. Emma Brands, she gets for a dime, she gets a big bottle of pills every month or whatever. She comes by, she gives the pharmacist her dime, and he gives them pills, and she's loving life. Well, the pharmacist is sick and out of town, so the pharmacist gets his niece, Eleanor Donahue, to take over the pharmacist while he's gone. Well, she's by the book. You don't get any pills unless you have a prescription. You give me the right amount of money. You don't give me the prescription or the right amount of money, you don't get the pills. Well, Emma Brands said, I want my pills. If you don't give me my pill, I'm going to die. Well, she started dying, okay, because she wouldn't give her the pills. You don't have a prescription, you don't get them. And then there was a big uproar, and the whole town started bringing Emma Brands food because she was going to die soon. Because she was laying on her deathbed. And at the end of the episode, Eleanor Donahue brings a big old bottle of pills and gives it to her and says, you need to take 2 or 3 right now. Oh, I hope I can. I'm on my deathbed. And she takes the pills and she said, I feel so good. 5 seconds after she took it. Well, why did she finally give the woman her pills? Because they were sugar pills. And that's why she's been living life all these great years, because she was taking this medication, and it was great. Some of you may know somebody like that. One of the reasons exercise X. Okay? I had an ex-mother-in-law like that, because you know, what is it? The apron don't fall. Yeah, thank you. Okay? Anyway, y'all know people like that? You ask them, you don't ask them how they're feeling. You just say hello. I had to do that to my ex-mother-in-law for years. Hello. I never asked her how she was doing. You ever met somebody that works 40 hours a day? You don't. You don't ask them. Because they're going to tell you they got Spanish flu with the Hawaiian flu, with AIDS and everything else. And they worked 40 hours yesterday. And there was a guy that, I went to school with a guy. You ever went to school with people and they age like 3 times faster than you do? Okay, I went to school with this guy. He looks like he's 80. All right? I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, he worked at Walmart for years. And he took one of my classes. Oh my gosh. It got to the point where he would come in and I'd say, so did you work 60 hours yesterday? Boy, I tell you, I was there from 3 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock the next day. Placebo effect. Most of the people with, what is it when you think you got something all the time? What is it called? Hypochondriac. Most of the people that's hypochondriacs, you give them a pill, oh, they feel great. Some people call them nuts. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Okay, there it is right there, placebo effect. I'm not going to cover this. You may see this. Go ahead and read it, okay? Go ahead and read the double blind and single blind. Single blind is just, okay? I'm not going to, I think there may be a homework question in there. I didn't put it in there, but you might want to, but not a test question. All right, make sure you make a note of that, but I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Not case control. I'm not going to spend time on that. Hold on. Oh. There we go. 5C? Did you say 5C? I know all y'all got y'all's outline with you. That's good. Oh shoot! I didn't send out that other. I didn't send that out today. I suck. All right, let's see. Selection bias, participation. Is this 5A or B? It's 5B. Sorry, thought I was in 5C. I'm getting there. Hold on. There we go. 5C, page 310. Make sure you know what a frequency table is. A frequency table is a chart. There it is right there. That's a frequency table. I don't know why they don't call it just a table or they don't call it a chart, but there it is. We got to call it a frequency table. You got the class on the left. You got the head count on the right. You add up the head count, you got how many people's in the whole thing. In this class, the head count would be 9. How many brunettes we got? Well, it looks like we got about everybody. Blondes, maybe 1. Got a hat, can't count that one. Redhead or blonde? Okay. So, all right, so the classes would be brunette, blonde, redhead. Frequency would be all 0, 1. Okay? Please know what a frequency table is. It's a chart or a table. It's nothing fancy. These people, I think they make up, no sneezing in class. I think they make up stuff to try to confuse you. The first column is called the categories. I call them classes. They call them categories. Second is frequency, which is head count. Make sure you put frequency equals head count. All right, somebody tell me, there's 9 people in the class. How many people are brunette? Well, I just told you all of us are brunette except for 1 redhead, so that should narrow it down a little bit. 8 out of 9. So somebody take your calculator and divide 8 by 9 and multiply by 100. What do you get? Okay, 89%. So 89% is what you call the relative frequency. Write that down. That is a test question. You will see that on your test. You got to figure out the redhead. Well, you can do the complement. What's 89? What's 100% minus 89%? So the redhead would be 11%. Or you would take 1 divided by 9, multiply by 100. So write that formula down. This is to give you the decimal. If you want the percent, you multiply by 100. Cumulative frequency, I really have not figured out why they do cumulative frequency. To me, they don't even, in fact, look, cumulative frequency, down at the bottom. Here it is. Okay, well, they don't even say cumulative frequency. Where do they have cumulative frequency is? They don't even give you a definition of cumulative frequency. Right under this box. Right here. I don't see a green box. Oh, hold on. Go back.
It's under the formula.
Okay, under the formula. Oops, sorry. Oh, this is such pain sometimes. Okay, the cumulative frequency, you just add them up. But what's it for? They don't tell you. The cumulative frequency is the number of responses in a particular category and all preceding categories. Yeah, but what do you do with it? At least you know what the relative frequency is. It's a percentage of the class. But what does the cumulative frequency do? It's worthless. But you got to know how to do it, so this is how you do it. There it is right there. Take the first number, bring it over. Then you add 7, 11, and you add 9, 20, 23, 25, and what should you get at the end? You should get that number right there. Now, I don't know what purpose this is, but it is a test question because it's linked onto the relative frequency, okay? So if I give you a relative frequency test question, it's going to have that cumulative on the end. That's all it is. But they don't tell you, none of these books, they tell you to find the cumulative frequency, but they don't tell you what to do with it. I don't think you use it for anything. I think it's just a check to see if you've done the math right on this number right here. It's a conspiracy from the Russians, is what it was. Huh? Yeah. Data types. Test question. Right there. Data types. Quality, not what? Quantity. Quality, not quantity. Remember that. Quality. My mama makes the best chicken salad there is. I don't care who your mama is, my mama's is better. Okay? All right? I'm just kidding you. She does make. You know how you get Ruth's chicken salad and it tastes like crap? You ever had Ruth's chicken salad? It's nasty. I won't even get it. I might as well just take a couple pieces of chicken, smear it with mayonnaise, and put it on bread. Okay? It's nasty. All right? My mom put grapes. She put pecans, where it was from. She put celery in it, little bits of celery, and it is delicious. I mean, you just eat it with a fork. It's so good. And I told my daddy told her one time that she should start putting it in those little plastic things and selling it. And, but you take something like that, what happens when you start selling a lot of stuff? You ever seen the episode of when Mr. Krabs, there's two episodes. One, he sells the Krusty Krab to Krabby Mondays. You ever seen that one? Okay, and then there's the other one where he starts making frozen Krabby Patties. You ever seen that one? What happens to the Krabby Patties in both of those episodes? What happens to them? They get nasty. People can't stand them because Mr. Krab wants to make what? He wants to make that money. Quality, not quantity. Quality is my mother's chicken salad the way it is. Quantity, if she starts taking that chicken salad and starts mass producing it, the quality of that chicken salad that we all love starts to go what? Down. So remember that. Quality, not quantity. That's what that means. Now, what does that have to do with this? Quantitative data is numbers. What's the average weight of people in this class? What's the average age of people in this class? What's the average shoe size? What's the average height of everybody in the class? All of those is quantitative data. Blonde, brunette, redhead, brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, whatever. I can't see that far. Okay? That would be qualitative. Qualitative is something you can't count. Okay? Blonde, brunettes, redheads, brown eyes, green eyes. You know, green eyes is like 2% of the population. I was looking up, is yours green? Hazel is like 7%. Guess which one's the dominant? Brown. Blue is second. No, you cannot. But, oh, go ahead, you got, I'm just kidding. Oh no, watch out, it's Hurricane, Barney, or what is it, Harvey? Yeah, call WYFF, get everybody to run around in circles. All right, we gotta finish up, you got a class to go to. What time you leaving, 12:25? What time's your class? 12:35, so. Okay, see if it works today, if not, you're gonna have to leave at 12:20 next time, okay? Or 12.
Yes.
Which way are you going? Clemson Boulevard?
Yeah.
I would.
The quickest way for you to go.
Wild Hog Road.
Yeah, go to 24 and take it back.
You know where 24 is? Okay. When you go out the parking lot, turn left. Go to the red light, turn right. Stay on that road for, it's 2 red lights. I think 3 red lights. 3 red lights, about 6 miles. You'll go over the lake. Get to the 3rd red light, turn right. I'll take you right to penalty. And it says save you about 10 minutes. Okay? Yes, sir.
I mean, you'll get out of it.
I hope you don't end up in Seneca.
That road is so great, like, when I.
Unless you get behind Little Blue Hair at the Ladies Club.
Yes, you get behind something like that, it's terrible, but otherwise it's amazing.
It takes me 16 minutes to get from my house to Pendleton going Wild Hog Road. Oh, I'm sorry. For those of you that don't live around here, Highway 187 North.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, we're going to shut her down. Let me cut off the handy dandy. Okay, so right now, you are responsible for 6A and some of 5